Hello YouTubers out there, this is the Boob Wasteland Show, and today I'm reviewing the second episode of 2.5 Men, Season 9. The first episode, of course, started a week ago, and this week was the conclusion to the premiere episode. All I could say, it's very funny. I enjoy the show a lot. I'm not going to say I enjoy it just as much as I did when Charlie-Sheen was on, but who knows. I think it's probably just as good. I like where they're taking Ashton's character, this man-child who, Walden Schmidt, is sort of a man-child. I mean, he hasn't really grown up, he hasn't really matured, he doesn't know what to do with his money. We see the home that he actually does live in, that's gated home, where his wife, played by Judy Greer, who is certainly one of the quirkiest actresses that we have, if not the quirkiest. The home he lives in is not exactly full of chandeliers and all this other stuff. It has an actual arcade, which I thought was fun. Kind of funny. And also Star Wars paraphernalia, including a giant-size C-3PO robot and R2-D2 and all this stuff. It sounds like that would be a fun house to live in. Actually, it's interesting the show did not deviate from the Malibu home. It would have been fun had Alan Harper, Jon-Cryer's character, moved into this house, because it looks much more visually interesting. But nonetheless, I think the show got off to a good start. I liked the conclusion. I thought it was funny. I like Conchatta-Ferrell, who we hear her voiceover as she keeps leering at Ashton-Kutcher. There's also a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend that shows up of Charlie-Harper's, inquiring about Charlie, and Jon-Cryer says he's gone, and she starts crying, and then she sees Ashton-Kutcher, and suddenly it doesn't matter anymore. She introduces herself. So I enjoy all that. And for 2.5 Men fans who like some of the raunchiness, it's limited in the show, but you do see that when Alan briefly moves in with his mother, Evelyn, you hear her screaming because she likes to have sex with other men in her home, and she's loud. So there's a lot of humor there. And Angus-T-Jones does show up very briefly, because when Alan Harper moves out of the Malibu home, which of course he, by the end of the episode, moves back in, I guess that should be no surprise, Angus-T-Jones, for a brief moment you see him come out of his bedroom, he says, "Where's everybody?" Alan forgot about his son. Hopefully that's going to be resolved in upcoming episodes. So I enjoy the show. Ashton works very well in this character, and it can only get more interesting, I think. I do feel that Charlie-Harper is going to return. I think what's going to happen is that it was a faked death, and he'll show up in the season finale of Season 9. But I could be wrong. I know Chuck Lorre and everyone else, apparently they resolved their differences with Charlie-Sheen, and of course we're not going to get into that right now. But I think he's going to return. But we'll see. I think Ashton is working out as not necessarily the replacement, but a new character for the show. And an interesting one, and a funny one. I mean, he's a glorious man-child of some kind. I don't know how else to put it. It's a different, unique character, and I don't think we've really seen on television all that much, except for maybe Ashton in back in the day when he did the show, that 70s show. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. There was a critic, by the way, from BuzzFocus.com that criticized Alan Harper's character, saying Alan hasn't really changed. I mean, his brother's gone. He has to move out of the Malibu home, which of course he's right back in. And is he going to be back to his old shenanigans? Well, probably. But I'm sure the writers, they're focusing just as much on Jon-Cryer as they are on Ashton-Kutcher. So, I guess you could say Jon-Cryer's character is somewhat iconic. Also, I enjoyed a nice postmodernist joke, a weird one, but funny, where Jon-Cryer makes a comment about how he had troubles dating women in the past, and that the only thing he really dated was a poster of Molly Ringwald back in the 80s. And I thought that was funny, because, of course, as all of you know, Jon-Cryer was in the Molly Ringwald film Pretty in Pink from 1986, so that certainly that's a meta joke for just about anybody that enjoys those postmodernist winks, which I do. So, I don't know. I enjoy the show. I hope it continues to be breezy. It's a very breezy show, and funny, and not nearly as raunchy as previous seasons. Jon-Cryer is at one point naked, laying on top of Ashton-Kutcher's naked body. You know who you are for the show. You know who you are as far as the audience. So it's funny, it's appealing, it's wicked, it's everything I expect in 2.5 Men. So, and much more. So we'll see how the rest of the season pans out, and I will be back to review the entire season when it's over of 2.5 Men. Until then, this is the Boob Wasteland Show, signing off.